Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you had a wonderful holiday with your friends and family. Today I'm going to be sharing 3 appetizers with you. You could also have these as side dishes. These are all relatively easy and I really do hope you enjoy them and do give them a try. You can have this ranch dip done in under 5 minutes. It is so easy. So we are going to start off by adding 8 ounces of softened cream cheese into our mixing bowl along with 2 cups of sour cream. And then I'm dumping an entire packet of ranch mix in here. I do end up using the whole packet for myself. However, I did start with half the packet to make sure that I was going to like how ranchy it was. So I would definitely advise that you do that as well, and then you can just add more and more until you get it to your desired taste. You're just going to mix that in your mixer real quick and then add it into your favorite serving bowl. It is so quick and easy to do. I just served mine with some celery, some baby carrots, and some potato chips. You can always add more sour cream as well if you prefer your dip to taste more like a sour cream dip, or if you don't, then add less. Next up, we're going to be making these firecracker meatballs. These are spicy, so if you don't like spice, then this recipe is probably not for you. I'm going to start by preheating my oven to 400 degrees and then adding a ½ cup of hot sauce into this saucepan, along with 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I do want to mention that if you have a favorite hot sauce, then I would advise that you use your favorite. These meatballs are going to taste like whichever hot sauce you use. The first time I used an off-brand hot sauce and it definitely lacked in flavor. This time I used what they used in the recipe, which was Frank's, and it definitely tasted a lot more like Frank's, but it had a lot more flavor. For the meatballs themselves, I'm using 1 pound of ground chicken, 1 heaping tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. Go ahead and get in there and get those well combined. Here I have a lined baking sheet. I am going to start rolling these meatballs out pretty large. They do shrink a little in the oven, so keep that in mind. I'm just going to roll out my meatballs until I have used all of my chicken mixture, and then we're going to get these in the oven. My meatballs cooked in the oven for 14 minutes. I did temp my meatballs to make sure that they were indeed at 165. I went ahead and covered my meatballs with the sauce. The sauce did thicken up a little bit, but these are actually going to go back in the oven and the sauce is going to continue to thicken, especially after they come out of the oven and sit for a few minutes. After covering my meatballs with the sauce, these went back in the oven for about 2 minutes. This is what they look like when I pulled them out a second time. I let them sit for about 10 minutes. The sauce did thicken up really nicely, and I added a little parsley on top to give some color. And this is what my meatballs looked like when I cut into them. They were not dry at all, and we ate them up so quick. Next, we're making these chicken bacon ranch pinwheels, and I'm going to start by preheating my oven to 375 degrees. Into my little baking dish, I'm going to add 2 chicken breasts that I sliced in half. It was a little crowded, but it was just fine. Mine were a little frozen still, that's why they look so firm. And then we're just going to season these up a little bit with some garlic powder, pepper, some of my favorite Parmesan ranch seasoning, and you want to make sure that you season on both sides of the chicken. For these seasonings, I just generously seasoned this chicken, but for any other recipe or, the rest of this recipe, I will have the exact amounts and links for you to original recipes in the description box below. Once that was all seasoned up, I did bake that in the oven for about 15 minutes. And while my chicken was in the oven, I did get some bacon started. I have some thick sliced bacon here. I have 3 slices that have all been cut in half just so they fit better in the pan. Once my chicken's done, I am just going to take my 2 forks and get that shredded up with the liquid still in the pan. I do drain a little bit of the liquid, but I leave some because the chicken will absorb it and really help it hold on to that moisture. Once that's all shredded, I'm going to chop up 2 green onions, as well as chop up my bacon. In a large bowl, I'm going to add 1 cup of shredded mild cheddar cheese. I did run a little low, so I had to use some Colby Jack cheese, but it worked just fine. I'm also going to add my bacon and my green onions in here. I'm also adding 3/4 cup of ranch dressing, about a tablespoon of parsley, and a half teaspoon of dill. Now we're going to add our chicken back in here. I was rushing and I really should have shredded my chicken a little bit better than this. So if you have the time, shred it thinner than I did because mine were kind of in big chunks, but it still worked out. But I definitely think it helps the texture if you shred it better than this. Next, you're going to need a package of tortillas. I'm using my favorite ones, which are lower carb, to keep this a nice lower carb recipe. However, you can use regular tortillas as well. I'm just adding a nice layer to this and using my fork to kind of pat it out and make it flat. I don't put it all the way to the edges because they end up getting cut off anyways. And then once you roll it, the other 2 edges will fill in, and it works out better if you just don't fill it too full. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish filling all my tortillas up. Once I get them all rolled up, I like to take my plastic wrap and just roll them up in there. I do twist the ends shut just a little bit to help prevent them from getting hard on the ends. I just put them on a plate and then they go in the refrigerator overnight. The following day when you get them back out, they will be chilled and completely set up, which does make them easier to slice. You're going to want to make sure you have a nice sharp knife and cut those about 1 inch thick. Here's what mine looked like when I had them all done and plated up. I did just set these out on Thanksgiving before we had our big dinner to snack on for everyone, and we really enjoyed them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video was a little shorter than normal, but I promise I will have a regular video up on Sunday with some great meal ideas for you. I hope you all have a wonderful New Year's, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you back here on January 1st.